On our next group of shiny Pokemon to catch, it was time to do Ancient Paradox Pokemon. These were new forms brought into Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and had to be hunted within Area 0. Since Pokemon Scarlet was my main game, I decided to hunt for all the shiny Ancient Paradox Pokemon. This was also going to be a tougher task since we cannot get any outbreaks within area, and there's our first shiny. Almost immediately after the first sandwich, we find our first shiny Great Tusk. Well, with this challenge underway, and the first shiny Paradox Pokemon caught, since I had a level 3 Sparkling Sandwich, I decided to just go on to the next Pokemon, Slitherwing. This Pokemon took a little bit more time to find, but we did find a shiny Pawmi also lurking next to the hunting area. We finally found our shiny Slitherwing with almost 1 minute left in the sandwich, and that is another Paradox Pokemon completed. Things were going pretty well considering we found 2 shiny Paradox Pokemon within 1 sandwich. Since more of these Paradox Pokemon shared typings, I decided to go for Screamtail and Fluttermane next. They could both be hunted in the same area, which is nice. However, the unique part about hunting for Fluttermane is that normally it would only be a nighttime hunt. However, when a shiny Fluttermane spawns, it does not despawn due to the nighttime-daytime cycle, making it the only Fluttermane that will spawn in the daytime. So, with my Sparkling 3 Fairy Sandwich, we ran up and down the cave and found our first shiny Fluttermane isolated amongst the Screamtails. We weren't lucky enough like the last sandwich to find both of them in one go, but a couple minutes after the next sandwich, we found our shiny Screamtail. With the first 4 Paradox Pokemon down, there weren't any more double hunting types we could really go for, so I decided that Sandy Shocks would be my next hunt. I had never really hunted or looked for Sandy Shocks, but I knew that they spawned close to the cliff, the same area around where Ironthorn spawns. With our first sandwich, we managed to find it within about 7 minutes. Since I didn't want to waste any more Herba Mystica, I decided to keep hunting for more Sandy Shocks, and within the next 12 minutes, we found our second one. We were closing in on the finish with just 2 more Paradox Pokemon to hunt, Brute Bonnet and Roaring Moon. Brute Bonnet wasn't too hard of a find since we made a level 3 Dark Sparkling Sandwich and hunted within the cave. I also did not know that sometimes Roaring Moon can also spawn in this cave. Roaring Moon? What? You're not supposed to spawn here. But after 15 minutes, we found our first Brute Bonnet. All that was left was Roaring Moon. Now, I wanted to save Roaring Moon for my last shiny to find because when the game first came out, I spent days trying to find a shiny Roaring Moon and managed to find a couple back then. But I wanted to redeem myself and find it faster now that I had level 3 Sparkling Sandwiches and the shiny charm. So, with the remaining time on my sandwich, we headed to the encounter area to find a shiny Roaring Moon. Unfortunately, there are also a ton of other dark Pokemon that spawn in that area, so we managed to find a shiny Sneasel and a shiny Dano, but no Roaring Moon. On the next day, I made it my mission to find a shiny Roaring Moon, so I switched to making a level 3 Dragon type sandwich, and instead we found a shiny Gibble. Now, I do need more shiny Gibbles, but I just needed this last Roaring Moon to finish off the Paradox Pokemon. And a couple minutes later, within the same sandwich, we find another Gibble. Well, I guess now we only need 1 more Gibble to finish the line, so I guess finding a third Gibble wouldn't be too bad. But after running into many Pokemon and making multiple sandwiches, we found our shiny Roaring Moon. We had finally completed this hunt. Are you freaking kidding me? There is another shiny Roaring Moon. I guess when you find one, the others will decide to show up. So, with that now completed, the next time we will be hunting is for the shiny future Paradox Pokemon.